I have to say, this story is weird and uncomfortable. It's definitely not a piece of subject matter that I would normally be covering. The only reason I'm talking about it is because it does happen to come from the entertainment sphere. It also seems to have some fingers pointed in a lot of very uncomfortable directions, and it brings to greater understanding the things that can happen when supposed adults aren't paying close enough attention. Of course, I'm talking about some of the things that are reported to have happened somewhere between 1998 and 2011. The Horatio Sanz scandal. Here we go. Horatio Sanz was one of the regulars on Saturday Night Live from 1998 to 2011. He played a variety of different characters and was often seen with friend Jimmy Fallon. There were, of course, lots of after-party shenanigans, as there always has been with Saturday Night Live, but these shenanigans seem to be a little bit more disturbing. And reading from the Daily Mail in this article, he abused me all over SNL. Woman who accused comedian Horatio Sanz of grooming her when she was 15 before bad behavioring her at age 17 at an SNL after party, and claims that Jimmy Fallon was aware of the inappropriate relationship. Now, mind you, this is allegation. Nothing's been proven here. And this is something that we've heard whispers of not that long ago, and I guess was followed up on from a couple of news sources just a few days ago. Of course, the bullet points here are Horatio Sanz' accuser, known as Jane Doe, spoke out for the first time about the abuse since filing a lawsuit last year. Doe lives in Pennsylvania and filed a complaint against Sanz and NBC, claiming Saturday Night Live alum actually assaulted her when she was 17 in 2002. So there's your timeline. Sanz' lawyer last year dismissed these claims, and again, like I said, this has been talked about before, as ludicrous, and claimed that this Doe person, tried to extract $7.5 million payment in exchange for her silence. Okay. The complaint alleged that Sanz, then in his 30s, I don't even know how to say this. Are you allowed to say, I'm going to say it, groomed the teenage girl and did bad things with her at SNL cast parties in front of his colleagues. And that probably should be the thing that's most disturbing. The NBC spokesperson that the Daily Mail reached out to cannot comment on legal matters. That's not surprising. Let's read the first paragraph and we'll pick through the article as we go, because if I don't, we'll be here forever. And this is an uncomfortable topic to begin with. And B, if you want to look at this, it's in the Daily Mail from the 17th of February. So there you go. A woman who accused SNL alum Horatio Sanz last year of bad behavior, again, story we've talked about, has claimed that some of the actors, crew, and castmates, including Jimmy Fallon, name-dropping biggest, were aware of the bad behavior but did nothing to stop it. So in August, and this is the second time the story came up last year, Sanz' accuser, a Pennsylvania resident known by the pseudonym Jane Doe, quotations, filed a bombshell complaint against the comedian, claiming that he touched her inappropriately in lots of places in front of colleagues during an SNL after party in 2002 when she was just 17 years old. Of course, this came out of a explosive expose that was published by the Daily Beast, so that's where this story ultimately comes from, I guess. Sanz' attorney, Andrew Bretler, at the time strongly denied the claims, calling them ludicrous and categorically false, and accused Doe of making a failed attempt to extract a multi-million-dollar settlement, which we just referenced in the bullet points. The details that are, again, allegations, are pretty concerning because of the involvement of obviously Fallon. This particular person, Jane Doe, was a super fan of Fallon as a teenager. Let's see. According to Doe, others at NBC were aware of Sands' inappropriate relationship with her, which she said included public displays of affection, drinking alcohol, which shouldn't be something that happens with her at after parties that were attended by castmates and staffers. So it's a room full of adults. I think this is the most disturbing part of this story. It says, and I quote, "Horatio certainly is the main character here, but he didn't do bad things to me in a vacuum. He did bad things to me all over Saturday Night Live." Man, this story is disturbing. Of course, they picked pictures of the two of the actors together, obviously. For obvious reasons, the more salacious, the better, I think. But Daily Mail reached out Thursday, the 17th, I guess, to NBC's representatives of SNL and Fallon, and was told that the network cannot comment on legal matters. Doe said that she was 15 years old when she became part of SNL's nascent online community and created a fan page dedicated to Fallon, who was her favorite cast member. She said Fallon and his friend and office mate Sanz emailed her to thank her for her efforts. The flirtatious chats between Sanz and the girl that was half his age followed, and before long, Doe said she began attending cast after parties and after parties as Sands' guest. She claimed many SNL staffers observed her drinking and doing drugs at those events despite her being underage at the time. She alleged in her lawsuit, which named Sands and NBC as defendants, that the actor would pull her towards his body and touch her backside in full view of his colleagues. Man, this does not get better. Does not get better. Apparently, the two stayed in touch over the years. According to the lawsuit, Sands' interactions with her remained manipulative, degrading, insulting, and abusive towards her. In 2019, the actor allegedly confided in Doe that he had been pleasuring himself during their online chats when she was in high school. According to the complaint, Sands subsequently offered Doe a written apology, telling her in part, "If you want to me, you have every right," referring to the hashtag #MeToo movement. Goodness gracious. Despite admitting that what he did was wrong, according to Doe, the comic also sought to downplay the alleged bad behavior. Making out with a 16-year-old is far from kitty F word. He was quoted as allegedly stating, not appropriate, but deity kitty F word. ? Wow. Doe said despite having chat logs from the early 2000s documenting her conversations with Sands, her friends, witness accounts, and even Sands' alleged confession, the actor still has not been held account for his actions. Of course, since then, he's been on a lot of things, and in one of the pictures that we may have seen at this point, you can see him on the set of Mandalorian, but he was also in Clifford, Zeroville, The Sex Addict, and Actors Anonymous, and those were films, and of course TV shows such as Glow, Black Monday, Duncanville, and as I mentioned a moment ago, The Mandalorian. This is terrible. As of the time that I grabbed this story, there were 40 comments there. Again, these are allegations, right? They may have some corroborating evidence that could be examined, quite possibly, but they're allegations, so look at them as such. The question here is this kind of culture, because we've had these rumors before dating back to the 70s that, the SNL after parties have a lot of strange things happening at them. Obviously, there are elements that go in the comedy world that seem to be, accepted behavior. But I think in full view of adults, this kind of thing should be frowned upon at the very least, if not outright called out when it happens. And if these allegations turn out to be true, this doesn't look good for a whole lot of people, whether it be the Emmy Award winning producer Lorne, or of course Jimmy, or anybody else of any note that was there. But you know what? You can't excuse any of the other castmates or crew that happen to be present at these after parties and the after parties. That's just darn concerning. Anyway, I don't know. What do you think? First of all, are you uncomfortable with me covering these subjects? Because this is one of those that I actually thought about whether or not I was even going to bother to cover. First of all, this video, if you noticed, is not monetized. Can't do it. First of all, wouldn't get past YouTube, when I mark it. And second, it's not me calling out the best in the world, which sometimes I try to do. It's a very uncomfortable subject, and I think we all probably recognize that. Second, aside from whether or not you want me to cover it, what do you think? Do you think these allegations hold water? Does it sound like this is something credible? That's the obvious question, I think, here. And third, I think an additional question should be, what if these other people are involved, or at least were aware of what was happening and they didn't say anything about it? Does that change your opinion of them? Maybe it does. I don't know. Anyway, please use the field down below in the comments section to make your comments, and hopefully we can interact, at least have a dialogue when it comes to this. Of course, support other independent creators out there. There are people covering these types of subjects on the regular basis, The Quartering being one of them, but of course there are other smaller channels that could certainly use your support. So, do engage, make sure that you, do your best to hit the like button, subscribe to them if you like their content. Be sure to comment, because it really does help with that engagement, and obviously share it out there if it's something that you feel passionately about. With that being said, I'm going to end the video the same way I always do. Be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.